I think it's an important factor of our O-line, and I think it's good for everybody just knowing that if one person goes down, the next person's up, just like I've been saying, and just like the coaches, is next coach up just the same way.
What's the difference between not having Coach Stud there at a game versus having Kevin Wilson and Kennedy Cook?
Honestly, it's really no difference. You just always hear that same voice from Coach Stud in the back of your head telling you to do your job. So there's no difference. I just say it's a little bit less cloudier, I would say, on the bench, but besides that, there's really nothing.
Have you got your Stud impression down yet? I know you guys all have one. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Nah, I ain't got one. I ain't got one.
Not for public consumption anyway.
No, I ain't got no public one. Maybe for like the guys or something like that.
There was a note that came up in the TV broadcast a couple weeks ago that your jersey might be one of the biggest jerseys ever made by Nike for football. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I heard that all week and every day after the game, and I was just like, wow, because like you just dream of putting on Nike, and then they make whatever you want to the customized size you're made. Your body is made, and they get it right for you.
It's interesting because there's a theory about how that's supposed to look, right? You actually, Coach Day mentioned last week about like you think it might be Shaq or something, but you have a very athletic physique. You got strength, power, speed, athleticism. Like, how much pride do you have in not just being a big athlete, but being an athlete first and being a guy that can out athletic, if you will, an opponent?
I take it personally, honestly. I just think just using basketball is my number one advantage, and just the footwork and what I do running the court. Coach Mick always talks about like using the field as a court. Like if I'm running a basketball court 90 something plus yards or something like that. And so he just uses that and takes that, and I take it and use it to my game. And I just take it personally that I should just be better than a normal, just big, tall guy, and be athletic and be able to run and move and stuff like that.
When you got here and you obviously you committed to Ohio State as a football player, you're on a football scholarship, but getting basketball out of your system, Coach Day told the story of you going to an AAU game with his son to watch him play and how into the sport you are. When do you think that switch happened for you, where you fully embraced football as the path?
It was just really one day it just hit me, and I just seen a bunch of guys go to the NFL, and I was just like, I know I can do that. And I always just said I was going to go to the NBA, and then just seeing other people go do it and then be the same height, weight as me, and just seeing other people do it, it just motivates you every day. And then just knowing I can go change my mom's, my whole family life every day, it just is a motivation.
Dawand, how proud are you about going back to Indiana as a starter, a big-time member of this football team? I mean, how proud are you of that achievement?
It's honestly a dream, just being back in your home, just being back in your backyard, and just knowing that, like, you've been there, like, you know what it's like, you know the environment, you know everything about this state. You're just comfortable. You just got to go do what the job is set up to do, and just go do it.
What's the most important way that you're a better player than you were a year ago at this time? What's the most important way that you're a better player than you were a year ago at this time?
I would just say my grind. You just got to dig deep, just knowing this week 6 or week 7, I don't even know what week it is, but just knowing that the season is done after the bye week, it's getting there. You just got to keep digging and grinding every day and just tell yourself to go get better than you were the next day. I mean, the day before, and go do it the next day.
Does the competition on this offensive line help that you feel like you probably have to come in every week and keep your job as opposed to just having a job?
I would say that. I don't try to think of it like that, but just knowing that everybody else is skilled behind you, and then knowing that they're doing better than you sometimes, and so you just got to feel like you got to pick up your slack and pick up your end and just do better at what your job is.
Dawand, obviously with playing a defense like what you're going to face Saturday, it's kind of a high-risk, high-reward thing. You all saw that in person last year. Can you walk us through prep for that, how it changes week to week, understanding a defense might be extremely aggressive with blitzes and other schemes?
Yeah, we know that Indiana runs tons of crazy blitzes, but I think our coaches prepped us pretty well for it.
What is the key to that? What is the key when you're up at the line? You know they could come from anywhere, so to speak, from one play to the next. What's the key for you guys up front?
I would just say just practice, honestly. It starts in practice from Tuesday and Wednesday, which is our 2 padded practices, and until it transfers over to the game. And then we use our Thursday practice as a simulation of the game just to see the blitzes in full fast motion without no knee braces, no nothing, without anybody.
Yeah, but you got, when you're up there on the line now and they're coming, or you don't know where they're coming, when they're coming, what is it, just be mentally alert at all times, head on a swivel kind of thing? What's the approach?
I would just say we trade back to our fundamentals, and that's back to that Tuesday and Wednesday with that. And so once you go back to that, like, it's just muscle memory.
Yeah. Dawand, Coach Day said the other day when I asked him about, you guys having to deal with that, but also just the way you guys are practicing now and stuff, he says he's been really heartened by the fact that he sometimes hears scuttlebutt going on, but it's you guys talking about, instead of talking about what you're going to go out to eat or something tonight, you're talking about plays, how to deal with things, how to deal with stunts, etc. Does that go on a lot with this group?
I would say so. We just take our job personally and what we do. And I said earlier, well, not earlier, in the interview before, we treat the quarterback as mom, and so we can never let mom get touched. And so we just talk to each other every day, make sure like the blitzes, and make sure that we're picking up the runs, we're doing everything right. I say it all the time, like, we just got a different connection on the O-line.
Dawand, was there a player when you began to make that transition between, say, football and basketball? Was there a player that you watch, you're like, yeah, this is a guy I want to emulate?
I wouldn't say no football player, but I would say like football player I seen was probably Mekhi Becton, just knowing that I went to Louisville visiting and seeing him and just seeing his process and just seeing what he had been through, and then seeing that season he had at Louisville his last year, and I was like, I'll probably compare myself, like, nobody's built like me, but besides maybe him and a couple others. And so I think that's why the person because I think he went to draft in my freshman year, so I think that was the perfect decision for me to say it's time.
Did you know of him? Did you know his practice, like the way he practiced, or?
I seen how hard he goes and stuff like that in his workout videos. I seen him at practice and seen how hard he goes, and just seeing he's a big body just like me and myself. And I feel like I could do that.
How seriously did you consider Indiana?
I just say they was in my top 5, but I didn't really consider them like that. Just being in a back home state and stuff like that, I kind of really just wanted to get away.
Dawand, there's been quite a few Indiana guys here at Ohio State who've had a lot of success in recent years. I mean, how much does it mean to you to kind of be carrying that on?
It feels good just knowing that a couple guys that came before me, like Terry, Austin. I wasn't a big Buckeyes fan, but I just know that a couple Indiana guys came before me.
Is there a lot of guys on Indiana's team that you know from high school you're playing against on Saturday?
I know a couple. The starting corner is my high school quarterback, and so that's one of them. And he was Mr. Football, Mr. All that. But I know a couple of them, and I see him after the game. We'll chop it up.
How many family members and friends have asked you for tickets for Saturday?
I've got a lot. I've got a ton coming, probably like a whole section coming.
Did you grow up as an Indiana fan?
A lot about your size. When you talk a lot about your size, what's the toughest thing about being your size? Not necessarily just as a football player, but just overall.
I'll just say just a lifestyle. I just got to make sure I just take care of my body, honestly, and just worry about myself and make sure I'm putting in healthy stuff and good stuff. And then I just say Ubers is another thing. That's probably a funny thing. I just can't really fit Ubers.
Did you grow up as an IU fan or a Purdue fan? Like, who was your team growing up?
I really didn't have no teams like that for football. I know it's sad that I was a big basketball guy. I'm from the Hoosier state, so it's really no other expectation but basketball down there. So I just say I like Kentucky and basketball. That's it, though.
You never owned candy striped pants or anything, though, right?
No football teams. I really didn't.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the footwork, as something that goes back to your basketball days and how it applies here. What specifically, do you apply footwork-wise on the offensive line to that you used while you played basketball?
There's nothing specific, but I just can tell, when you're moving and stuff like that, like a drop step. I mean, it's just simple. When the defensive end is on the edge, it's aiming pointers to the quarterback, and you really just got to cut it off. And once you beat them to the end point, they just got to make a move. And it's really just like basketball. You cut them off, you playing defense on the baseline, they got to go back middle, and that's what you kind of want to do.
Dawand, the coaches were talking a lot this week about how you've always loved playing, but you kind of had to learn to embrace that daily grind. How do you feel like you've done that over the course of your time here to improve your day-to-day work habits?
I just tell myself every day, just go be a millionaire, and you can't expect to be nothing else. And so holding yourself to that standard, I don't think it's a no-brainer that I've gotten to where I'm at, but I don't feel like I'm anywhere, honestly. But I think I can do more, and the ceiling is way above where I'm at right now.
Is there anyone here that you've really looked to as an example that's kind of showed you how to do that, how to put in the day-to-day work?
I'll just say Thayer, a couple of other O-line guys, Wyatt, Jonah, Josh Myers, Josh Allaby. Those are my old heads for me. And so just looking at them, watching them grind every day and seeing what they did and how they came up through here, and just knowing that they've been here for a long time, and if I do the same thing, I can be in these same shoes.
What does Thayer do well? What does Thayer do well?
I just say Thayer is consistent, and he talks about that word all the time, man. I just say he's consistent at his sets. He's been here the longest. He's listened to Coach Stud. He's done everything that the coaches have asked him, and he's that guy to me now.
Dawand, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dawand.
Thanks, Dawand.
Folks, we have Paris Johnson over here to your left.
First up suggested you're feeling a little banged up in the Maryland game. The bye week coming a good time for you?
It did.
What are we dealing with there? And how come
I mean, I feel like certain stuff just comes with it, you know, as the season goes along, you know, but I feel good now.
Is that part of it? Doing this the first time as a starter and going for a full year, at least at this level. Has the wear and tear, that part surprised you, the body maintenance or anything?
No, I mean, again, like, I feel like this level of play is not something I dealt with before I came here, and like last year I didn't play enough snaps to even really feel anything. So this is more than I felt before. I would say just I feel like being a guard is all about just being there for your tackle. I mean, if you're a tackle and for your center versus, like you said, a tackle, you're thinking about, okay, this is my guys, that's it, depending on the play. But I would say just being mindful, not about my own guy, but protecting the guy on the left and the right of me. Yeah, I do. I think that was one of the biggest things this offseason that I had to really work on is that, there's less space, so things happen faster. So if you're more aggressive and you run to somebody, then, you don't have time and space like you do at tackle, So just being, mindful and trying to be, smart about it. Oh yeah, I would say that we do a great job of keeping the players as far as our mental health and our physical health is very important. I feel like it's open conversation that we have, as far as the things that we deal with in the classroom and at home and everything. So I would say the circle of care that we have that goes on is really good.
Harrison, when you see a guy, the transition from tackle to guard is an actual tackle, but to have someone that's going through that transition with you and Thayer, how important has he been to kind of make sure that you guys are both comfortable at that position?
Well, I would say we talk all the time about our ideas about how we should approach this, since we naturally have that tackle mindset, and then since he's a veteran guy, so I'm coming to him and I'm asking him how I can translate that to be a better guard. So he's definitely been really helpful.
Is that a level of versatility that you were expecting when you chose to come to Ohio State, or is that just something that you can add to your toolbox to help you? I mean, whether it's later on here or later on down the road.
I mean, like when I first came here, I like never saw myself as a guard, but then, but the first opportunity to play was means a lot more, especially at a level of Ohio State, and then just like thinking about the versatility later on is exciting, because eventually, whether it's here or at the next level, you're going to be called to move around. So,
how much do you feel like this offensive line's cohesion has grown to where it is now from where it was when you guys started the year?
It's grown a lot, and I feel like when you get into the game, and then it's actually time, and you get to the team, and then that's where the real cohesion begins, especially for like mostly like you have this year. So it's been good. The cohesion's been good.
Where do you feel like are maybe the areas in which you guys as a unit have grown the most over the course of the season?
I would say all around growth, for sure.
And you guys at guard, I mean, you guys have had Matt Jones rotating in there with you. Just what's that been like, kind of having, 3 guys playing at those 2 guard spots?
I feel like it just shows the versatility that we have in the room, that guys can just jump around anywhere, and we can keep going.
How much have you seen Matt improve over the course of this year? How much has he been pushing you guys?
Oh yeah, Matt's been a leader in the room, and he's been working hard, and he's been showing it every day in practice and the games that he's ready to go. Yeah, I would say it definitely helps, because I know what he wants, and how I can make it easier on him and for myself. So I would definitely say it makes the communication a lot easier between us. I have to pass it off now. The person has to initiate it. Well, I feel like the way that Coach Stud prepares us, as soon as you get here, he prepares us for our position. But in fact, he always expects us to know what the next man's doing. So, I knew what the guard had to do, but now I just had to perform it. So it's just getting the physical reps,
First.
General public sort of overlooked in terms of what you guys have to do to get ready mentally and physically before games. That's not just the same thing. What are some things that people may not think about what you guys
I would say just balancing the things in the classroom before the game, because again, that's the most important that we need to knock out before the game. So then just trying to balance everything else, so we have our time to just relax our minds, focus, because as soon as it gets to the later part of the week, closer to the game, the less it becomes so physical, and the more it's mentally just knowing our assignments to the point where we don't think about it. So it's just like the mental piece and the preparation is just as important as the physical piece.
Paris, how would you rate this team right now in terms of preparation? Like you're just talking about the practice, the watching video, the paying attention to detail. How would you rate this team right now? I'm not necessarily looking for a grade, but are y'all on a championship level in terms of preparation? What's your feel for that?
Yes, I would say that the way that we prepare and as we move through the season has been at championship level, and as far as a unit and as a team, is just the self accountability and accountability within our units to make sure that that we're getting ready for the games, our opponents.
I was going to ask you, what are the indicators? You kind of pointed it out, right? I mean, what are the indicators that y'all are doing it the right way? You just kind of pointed it out, but Coach Day said the other day that he hears you guys talking in the background sometimes, and instead of talking about where you're going to go out to eat that night or something like that, you're talking about football. Mm-hmm. Has that always been that way? When did that develop? You know what I mean? Is that an indicator to you that you guys' minds are in the right place?
I would say that, in our unit, I would say that we actually take like mental reps, and I feel it's been a big thing this year. Is just mental reps when you're not on the field, you're trying to envision yourself in the background as being on the field, which is just another level, which I feel like that the coach was talking about. That I would say that we've been doing a lot of.
Yeah, and when you're going against a team like this, a defense like this, that can blitz from any angle, throw all kinds of things at you. What is the key when you're at the line of scrimmage on Saturday from play to play? What's on your mind? What will be on your mind there?
Patience, because everyone has to fit a gap. Just not trying to make it more than what it really is. Because the preparation that we do during the week it's all gonna come. It's all gonna fit into the picture.
Donovan Jackson's a guy you came in as a 5-star like you. I'm just curious, what have you seen from him so far in his freshman year?
Donovan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant RC. Okay, yeah, really good. I mean, just each day he brings everything he has, and he's a great teammate, and really cares about what he does out here, and he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great.
Are there any lessons you try to share with him as somebody who was in his shoes a year ago about kind of how to handle his first year?
I would say he really has it down. So he's not one that anybody's really had to worry about. And when he has any questions or he asks for insight, he takes it and he just runs with it. So
this freshman class in general, to see the way they've come in and made an impact on this team, how impressive has that been to you?
I feel like it's really impressive, and it just speaks about the development that our team has, especially coming off of COVID and everything. It's phenomenal to see that with such a young group.
How much have the coaches impressed upon you guys what happened in the second half against Indiana last year when you guys had the big lead at the halftime and it turned into a ball game, and they, like you said, they were throwing the kitchen sink at you guys, blitzing wise, et cetera. How much have they stressed that this week, the finish?
Well, I feel like since the beginning of the season, I feel like it's always been like, regardless of the score, how it looks, about finishing. In any game where we've been up, I feel like we just taking to keep going to a point to where like we're not going to change because we don't want to risk that. So it's just a mindset of, okay, great, let's keep going. Why not more? Type of mindset.
Greed is good. No, I'm just messing.
I know you.
What's it like lining up close next to somebody as big as Dawand Jones?
He makes me feel small. Yeah, he does. He does.
Is there something like, you're up close to him, you kind of probably know his game as well as anybody, but what does he really do well? Is it like a right tackle?
I would say his patience and his ability to see the bigger picture as far as the safeties and the corners and the linebackers go. And then, with me too, I'm also looking out there, but he's on it right away. So.
I know you've been doing stuff off the field too with your foundation. Just kind of, how has that been going for you so far?
Really good. Right now we're focusing on what we're gonna do for Christmas in the Columbus area and Cincinnati too. So I was talking to my mom about that. So those are the next steps that we're starting to look at.
What are some of the things that you have planned?
We want to give us some toys. So that's our goal right now. So we're in the midst of starting to talk about it right now, the process, how we're going to do that, how we're going to get the toys and the schools and the program and the different schools and communities that we're going to donate them to.
What are the ways that NIL has allowed you to grow that foundation so far and kind of take those efforts to the next level?
Well, for me personally, I feel like it's helped because not every deal I do, I want to do for me. It's not about necessarily like the money, but I feel like there's certain deals where I find the value in terms of just being able to volunteer or just being able to supply food or groceries or clothes that we can give out to kids or to veterans or something like that because, they have those resources. So it's honestly just been like phenomenal. It's been phenomenal to be able to use those resources in my foundation as well.
Great, Paris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paris.
Dan, no, I'm good. Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
Okay, you bet. Yeah. Zach Harrison here.
Zach, as you kind of look at your season right now at the halfway point, how do you feel like this year has gone for you so far?
Pretty well. Obviously, I don't have the sack numbers that I would want right now, but I feel like I'm making a lot of plays. I felt like the last 2 games I've really caught my stride, and I feel like I'm really hitting the ground running right now.
What do you think is maybe the missing step, the thing that needs to happen for you to start getting those sacks you want?
Making tackles. Like, I'll be there, sometimes I just miss the tackle.
Are sacks overrated?
No.
No? I mean, you look at the production, right? You're there, you're causing plays, the defense, you guys are getting the wins on the back end with interceptions and that kind of stuff. But obviously for you want to get home.
Yeah.
But as a defensive unit, I mean, you guys aren't sitting there banging your heads about it, right? I mean, you're close.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like pressure is always great, getting the quarterback off his spot and making him uncomfortable. But, we want to get home. We want to get hits on the quarterback and, sacks end drives. And sacks can change the game. Pressures only do so much.
How do you as a defensive lineman practice that? Like, you're not allowed to hit the quarterback here. So these quarterbacks that you're this close to are ducking out of the way. And, I mean, how do you prepare for that, knowing that these guys can do things in a game that you can't even really rep in practice?
Yeah, we can't tackle the quarterback in practice, but we've been tackling quarterbacks our whole life playing defensive end. So it's something that, you just got to make the play when it's there.
Is it just a half step short? How would you describe it to this point, Zach? The lack of sacks. Obviously, you had one of the great strip sacks you've ever seen there in the opener, but
yeah,
is it a half step short? Is it a grip that slipped? I mean, how would you describe it?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, we can tell that we're winning one-on-ones and we're getting to the quarterback. Like I said, we're getting pressure, but we all want to get home. Just working the moves we already have in practice, working on our technique, because it's just showing them we use our technique, it works. So you just got to continue to use that in games.
Jack and JT have seen their roles increase over the course of a year. What kind of growth have you seen from those two?
They're both just getting more comfortable, playing in games. You come in as a freshman in the first game, you're like, oh crap, like I'm in the game, it's 100,000 people watching me, but now they're just more settled into their role and they know like it's just football.
How much does that maybe push you guys as veterans when you see the plays that they're out there making?
I mean, I just get happy when everybody makes plays. I see JT and Jack get a sack. I'm the first person celebrating. Like, I got to try not to run the field and go celebrate with them out there because that'll be a flag. But I'm just happy that they're making plays.
As a leader of this team and obviously a leader of the defense, what have you seen that's really come right the last several weeks? What did you guys, in your opinion, really get straightened out from Oregon on?
I just feel like, we needed like a little confidence boost, and we definitely, we're building confidence. And when you play with confidence, you play fast, you play more physical, and you make more plays. And that's something that I feel like we're doing. We're catching our stride right now, playing with the most confidence we've had all year.
When did you see that turn, Zach?
It was gradual. It was gradual.
Yeah, but I mean, the last couple of games, y'all have really had a pretty good grip on some team. Mm-hmm. Well, especially Maryland, had a pretty decent offense at least coming in and stuff. What just stands out to you about y'all's effort in that game in particular?
We're just more games we play, the better we play. And that's just the last game we played, so that's the best we played so far. And I expect to play, keep that trend going. Play better and better every game.
Are you feeling healthier now?
Mm-hmm.
You missed some time earlier. What were you dealing with, or?
No, I'm all good now. Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the guys who weren't captains, who maybe weren't leaders at the start of the year, but you've seen emerge as leaders so far this season?
There's a lot of guys. One guy that stands out to me is Rio, Demario McCall. He's a guy that, he doesn't see the field that much, but he knows his role. And when he talks, everybody listens, and he's the guy that, if something goes wrong, Rio will be like, yo, we got to get this right. This is not Buckeye football. This is not Silver Bullet defense. And that's somebody who, who I personally look to, be like, all right, if I'm not doing something right, Rio's going to check me, and sometimes you need that.
When did he gain that role? When did he become that guy? You know what I mean? Because he's a guy that's hunted for a position since he's been here.
Yeah, he's always had a voice that people listen to. You know, there's a moment during camp that really, you know, he talked to the team, and that really got a lot of guys respecting, and it showed that he knows a lot. He's been around a while, so he knows what it should look like. He knows what, you know, he's done the whole journey. Just listening to him and his story, and you know.
Do you remember the message, part of the message that he gave? When he talked to, like you said. When he
yeah, but it was just something, you know, in the team room with the team.
Yeah.
Something that, you know, I want to share with everybody.
How important do you think it's been to this defense's growth that more and more guys are stepping up as leaders?
It's been. I got Sam. Got to go over and take that. But what was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, how important do you think it's been for this defense's growth that more and more guys are stepping up as leaders?
It's been crucial. It's been crucial in our defensive development as a defense and as a unit coming together. You know, more guys are holding guys accountable, and that's something that you need to be a good defense.
Zach, when you're getting ready to play Indiana, they've had so many troubles on offense this season, especially lately. Haven't scored a lot of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you view preparing for that? Like, where's the threat, the challenge? How do you view them if you're kind of giving yourself a scouting report? What would you say about it?
I mean, they're a very good team. You know, they got a good offensive line, a big offensive line who, you know, does a good job of getting in the way and pass protection and moving guys in the line for the run game. You know, they got a good receiver and a good receiving core who can make plays downfield, and the quarterback can get the ball to them. So they got an overall pretty good offense, and something we just got to prepare for and bring our best foot forward.
With the change in quarterback they had, did you see a change in what they were trying to do?
You know, both guys can make every throw and make plays. So, you know, like I said, we just got to play our best ball if we want to get a win.
Zach, when you're talking about the young guys, how much do they motivate you to kind of just push yourself a little bit more and continue to, like, take that extra yard on each play when you're on defense? Just how much do they motivate you personally to just kind of live up to what you've been training for your Buckeye?
I mean, yeah, you know, I always want to, you know, set a good example for them, show them the right way to do it, show them the wrong way to, not show them the wrong way to do it, and that's really about it. I just, you know, keep playing hard and keep playing well so they have somebody, but all right, that's how it's supposed to be done.
Do you have, like, almost an increased sense of hunger to want to, like, have an increased drive yourself because of the way they've been playing so early in their careers?
Not really. I'm hungry as it is. My hunger comes from inside.
What's your exam in, by the way?
Social problems. Yeah.
Kind of like this?
Nah.
No, I'm just messing
Zach,
with
when you, I don't know if you've been asked this already, but when you go good on good, one-on-one against the Ohio State offensive line, what are your impressions? Is it one of versatility when you see that offensive line? Is it one of tackles converted to guards and what's your impression as a defensive end?
I mean, our O-line's huge.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that the other day. I'm like, dang, we got some big O-linemen. Like, I think all the O-line but the center are taller than me, and I'm not a short dude. So that's something that stands out. You know, they're really athletic. All five guys can, you know, it's like a basketball team playing O-line, just a little bit heavier. He gets me better every day. You know, Dawand's been here my freshman year, so you know we got some battles. You know, every one-on-one we're talking. You know, we'll get a rep, then talk about it, and then we'll do another rep, then talk about it, and then you know, like we're friends, so we'll start talking mess to each other during practice, and that just gets us more amped up. Really everything, but I'd say the most important thing is probably like my speed of play. You know, freshman year I was playing a lot slower, and now I'm kind of like, you know, pinning my ears back and just going, playing fast.
Is there any part of it that I won't say came easy, but kind of able to do the moments you
Nah, nothing came easy. When my first walk through here, I was like, this is like game speed. I don't know if I'm, but then you know, after getting more reps and reps and reps, you know, the game slows down.
Zach, a couple weeks ago after Texas A&M beat Alabama, Jimbo Fisher said, you know, he wanted his team to be happy about the win, but he wanted to be more proud of the way they prepared, you know, for the game that week, because something had been slacking the previous couple of weeks, you know, especially that loss to Mississippi State. But do you sense you guys are practicing at a championship kind of level right now. What tells you y'all's preparation is not just practice, but the preparation aspect of it is on point?
The results. You know, the last 2 games we've, you know, beaten each team pretty sturdily, and that just shows that what we're doing at practice is working. So we got to continue to practice hard.
But do you leaders reinforce that point every week? I mean, how do y'all keep it going, I guess?
You know, it starts with us. You know, we're going hard at practice every day, and we're giving our all on one end of the ball, and we're, you know, treating practice like a game, then everything will follow. All the other guys will do the same.
Zach, I mean, just what are the things that, you know, you feel like if you guys get into this second half stretch, you've got so many big games coming up, what are the most important things that you as a leader kind of have to preach to this team to make sure you stay focused?
Like I said, just same thing, continue to practice hard and work on your fundamentals, and because, you know, games like this, it's the little things that matter when you start playing, you know, teams that are, I think all of our next 5 games are like top 10 ranked opponents or something like that, you know, and when the teams get better, you have to, it's the small things that matter. The small things will get you beat, the small things win the game.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.